I stand for biblical principles all the way, and so doesn't he. He does not lie. He tells the truth. But he is coming again, and he is coming to Jerusalem.
And
We are in the end times.
and if he were to come back,
He will appear there.
and if he appears there, then all the Jews would have to convert to Christianity or be killed, right?
They will be asked, they will make that decisions prior to him coming back. But I think a lot of the evil and darkness has to be exposed in order for people to wake up and understand just how bad that is. Do you choose to go with the death and the darkness, or do you choose to go with the life and the light of God? I believe that President Trump is fighting for that, yes.
For over a decade now, we and other outlets have been sounding the alarm about the rise of Christian nationalism and how the most fringe fundamentalist beliefs have been adopted and propped up by the Republican Party. Which brings us to this, frankly, terrifying investigative report from journalist Jonathan Larsen. Here's basically what happened. A combat unit commander told non-commissioned officers at a briefing that the Iran war is part of God's plan and that President Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to earth. Now, there was a complaint made by a non-commissioned officer, and then after that, you had more than 110 complaints about commanders in every branch of the military, which had been launched by the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. And they came from 40 different units across at least 30 military installations. Now, they are keeping the complaints anonymous to prevent retribution, of course, but that's crazy. So in this complaint from the NCO, they talk about how the commander, right, this commander urged them to tell the troops that this was all part of God's divine plan. And he specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelation, referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. We already know about, President Trump so-called supposedly being anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon. But what makes it even more alarming in this complaint is that he had a huge grin on his face when he said all of this. What? Like, yeah, I get, this person is a Christian first supporter, but to do what? Are you out of your mind? And this is somebody, the NCO that was speaking out on behalf of 15 fellow troops. Some were Christian, you had a Jewish person in there, a Muslim person as well. So you've got people from all different types of religious backgrounds. And they were shocked, right? And they know it's wrong to have suffered through what they heard from their commander. It's really, really disturbing. And the response from MRFF President Mikey Weinstein is very telling, right? And it's bold, it's harsh, because in part he talks about how, and he demands that all personnel in the Department of Defense remember and fully internalize that the oaths that they swear are not to the narcissistic, sociopathic, orange POS Trump, nor to little Petey Kegseth, nor to Jesus Christ. No, their oath is to solely the United States Constitution, which of course includes a separation of church and state. And also, I found this quote to be really I ain't playing around. That anybody who, is trying to take advantage of their subordinates by advancing their Christian nationalist wet dreams, they're going to be swiftly and aggressively prosecuted for numerous violations of the military criminal code. This report is asinine, okay? For a commander to say the things that they did, talk about how the Iran war is part of God's plan and that President Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon. And so your Christian nationalist beliefs are guiding these policies, these foreign and military policies. That's a terrible path you're going down, my friend. Terrible path. Because then you can, in your own head, justify just about everything. Oh no, they deserve to die because it's God's plan. And President Trump has been anointed by Jesus Christ. So that you don't need to worry about that because it's all part of God's plan. It's a terrible thing to have religious beliefs really guiding policies. It don't matter, what religion. It's terrible in all of itself.
We have had negotiations, very effective negotiations by Donald Trump. I adore Donald Trump. I love him. I think he's a fabulous president. But this is the one thing a president can't get wrong. According to the Bible, according to Joel chapter 3, a president can't get Israel wrong. This is a spiritual battle. The United States, in my opinion, we need to be decisive. This is not a negotiation. It can never be a negotiation, because when we're dealing with evil in the world, the evil everyone understands is Hitler and what happened in World War II. There was no negotiating with Hitler in World War II. There needed to be a decisive defeat of evil. We're in that moment now with Iran. Iran needs to be decisively defeated.
If we abandon our support for Israel, we will soon discover that the account of God's blessing on America is overdrawn. We have long benefited from the undeserved favor of God. This is more than geopolitical. It is about biblical truth. We are in a moment that demands moral clarity, not political convenience.
I believe that we are in the stage, Tony, of setting up. I think the players are being put into place, and assuming, Tony, that Israel's going to be successful, and they're going to, in some way, shape, or form, with what help, I don't know yet, but let's say that Persia, Iran, is put in its place. What's going to happen? There's going to be a massive explosion of salvation and an awakening of those in Persia who have been flirting with the gospel for a long time. Many of them have become believers.
Isn't it interesting that the ancient stronghold of the Prince of Persia that sought to exterminate all the Jews is now coming down again under the authority of another modern day ruler who the prayers of God's people have been empowering, so that during their Feast of Purim, when they had a reversal of a destructive threat, we're watching that reversal happen again in our days. So things are happening right in alignment with actual feast days. By the way, Hamas attacked Israel on the October 11th was the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles. There's always a feast day manifestation because Israel and the return of Jesus is back on the menu.
Democrats should take advantage of this fiasco to posture as the anti-war party, because the American people, they don't want wars. They're not interested in wars. What they're interested in is being able to pay their bills, interested in being able to afford groceries, interested in being able to have health care that is not going to cost them thousands of dollars. They are interested in having a high quality education. But you got millions and billions of dollars being spent for unnecessary war? Oh, absolutely not. So if you're smart, and I know some of these Democrats are not, and they don't care, you're like, nah, let's get away from this whole war messaging. We don't need to go to war. We're trying to promote peace and unity and democracy. We're not on that type of time like the Republicans are. I don't know if they'll listen, but because some of them, they're wrapped up in, American imperialism as well. And it's just a matter of, oh yeah, I don't like that you killed this leader from Iran, but we should have got approval first. You should have gotten approval first. But again, if they want to have, real success during the midterms, and the anti-war party messaging, I think, would go a long way. Again, going to these wars, starting these wars, is not helping the American people. Flat out. It's not. For HQ, I'm Chris Williamson. We'll see you next time.